Welcome one, welcome all to a tale of two Sundays for us. I lost. I didn't cash a single team, and I had a terrible day betting. But luckily, Kurt has had a decent day in the NFL streets. Kurt, how are you doing today, man?
I mean, I didn't know it until I just now checked, but I doubled up today. So I don't know how. I think I was matched the field on Jefferson. I think I was under on Darnold. Maybe matched the field there too. I think it was the afternoon only, which I didn't have any Shakir.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know, but I want the slate to end because I feel like this is like a fever dream. I just went down $5. Yay. Cool.
So Josh Allen and them just scored a touchdown to make it 44-42. So they did not recover the onside kick either. So this game is over.
I wish Cooper would have got the bonus, though. If Cooper would have got the bonus, I probably would have.
Yeah, I mean, that Bills game I didn't really get a chance to watch it, but Shakir had over 100 yards. Puka absolutely went off. You had Josh Allen with 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns. Oh, my Lord. What a great game from him. I'm looking at these stats.
54? You went for 54?
54 fantasy points?
Oh.
This was a slate, Kurt, where I just packed up the shop and I just said, you know what? I'm going to watch movies with my fiance and just chill. And I didn't watch the afternoon games, and it looks like I missed an absolute gem of this Bills-Rams game, which is awesome.
There you go.
But we have a big game tonight, and there was also big news that hit right before we got on the show here, right? And that big news is Ladd McConkey out for this game against the Chiefs. And why is that important? Well, Kurt, the Chiefs are the second worst team against the slot this season in terms of yards against from guys who line up in the slot line. Well, who does that for the Chargers? Ladd McConkey. So we're on a little bit of a mission to find out who's going to take those routes, who's going to take those snaps from the slot. And we each have our own theory. I'm going to go ahead and just dive into this because this is the most important thing of the slate, right? And Leander Watkins, will there be any projection updates? I would assume that these projection updates, if they haven't hit already, are going to hit very shortly. But I think they are updated on the RPS site. Let me just go ahead and just double check there too. But anyway, Josh Palmer has ran the second most snaps from the slot for the Chargers this season. That's notable for the reasons being, well, when Ladd McConkey isn't out there, he has a decent chance to line up in the slot. And that's what I think happens tonight. There's also the thing, too, where DJ Chark hasn't been active. And now he is going to be active for this game. He is actually going to play. Does he just start on the outside? Because he was one of their big names. He was supposed to be starting this season coming into this year, but injuries held him back and ultimately has just never got his foot in the door with Harbaugh. And you could just see a 1-for-1 light where you just have DJ Chark starts on the left, Quentin Johnson on the right, and Palmer in the slot. So, Kurt, I just wanted to get your read on that because my read is Palmer gets a huge boost, and I think Chark is one of the sneakier plays today. What do you see in this wide receiver room here?
It's news to me that Chark's active. So,
well,
he's been active for a couple. Is this his first game active?
Well, so he was active but played 1 snap, and I wanted to say that was 3 weeks ago. And
I see week 10 he had 2% of the snaps, and week 13 he had 4% of the snaps. So
yes. And they were not great, right? It's not promising, but he's got an opportunity tonight. And I genuinely, and this is a good question here too, when you're talking Brock Taco, you bring up Jalen Reagor, who has been playing over DJ Chark, right? You have that thought too of, I just don't want people to think that this Chargers wide receiver room is cookie cutter, as you can see my palm rating here. It's not a cookie cutter game at all. Not a cookie cutter team in the wide receiver position at all, because I don't think Reagor is just a lock for more snaps. I don't think Palmer is even a lock in the slot. And I do think that's what happens, but we just can't pretend that this is 100% going to happen. I think the only certainty that we will have is that Quentin Johnson and Palmer should lead this wide receiver room. Outside of that, though, it is very much a lottery. Kurt, go on, is what you were saying.
Yeah, I guess this will be his first game where there's actually injuries. I mean, besides Fehoko, this is Chark's first time being active where one of the guys playing a majority of the snaps will be out between the big three, between Johnson, Palmer, McConkey. This is the first time that he's going to be active while one of those guys are inactive. So maybe we see him get up to 20% or something like that. I think it could be sneaky. He kind of just mixes in with Davis, Reagor. Those two guys just kind of mix in with the other two. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think Johnson and Palmer are the most safe. Disley, obviously, in a great DVP spot. But we're on receivers, so we'll keep it at that. You can get cute with one of those guys, but I don't think you really have to, honestly. The pricing's not bad. I mean, unless you're trying to jam a KC running back, you really don't have to play someone cheap if you don't want to.
Yeah, and that's my thing too, Kurt. And you bring up a great point. The next talking point was going to be the KC running back room. right? You have Pacheco and Hunt. And last week against the Raiders, the Chiefs were expected to roll. And you know what they didn't do? Didn't roll. And even after Pacheco had a huge 36-yard run, he was barely utilized after that. And a little bit of it has to do with the fact that Andy Reid kind of said, Pacheco's not going to have a limit on him. He's not going to have any work restraint. Then after the game, he comes out and says, we wanted around 20 snaps for him. That's what's going to happen again here, Kurt. I think this is going to be very close to a 50-50 split. They're not just going to abandon Kareem Hunt, no matter how bad he's been and how good Pacheco is running. They're going to be a 50-50 split, which brings us to the point where
it's not 50-50 though. I mean, there's not been a game since week 3 where Perine hasn't got at least 20% of the snaps. I mean, Perine's going to get his 20%.
Let me rephrase carries. Let's do carries because Perine is very effective in the passing game. 2-minute drill. Yeah. One of my favorite bets to keep tabs on is a live drive props on the DraftKings Sportsbook. If you ever see a 2-minute drill for Kansas City and you can get a catch at plus 200 for Perine, it's not a bad stab. That's one of those very niche live betting markets that I've been trying to hit.
Sure.
But you're right, though. Perine's involved, too. You could legitimately have a 40-40-20 split in this backfield. There's just not a whole lot of reason to love it. And, what was it last week? Who went off last week that I just didn't have? What was the last Sunday Night Football game, Kurt? It was the Bills game. And as soon as James Cook took off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was horrible. Horrible.
I was low on James Cook. I could not be more wrong on him last week. So hopefully this isn't the same thing this week. But it just goes into the point where, yes,
last Chargers Sunday Night Football slate, we literally talked about the nuts for an hour. So I know we've been getting our kick teeth in by some bullshit. Was it just last week?
I think it was last week. Well,
I've been got everything too. But hey, maybe the Chargers Sunday Night Football slates are good to us. So.
Yeah, and I do like talking about the Chargers. I do think that this Ladd McConkey injury, whenever you have a key injury to a big player, and McConkey has been a big player, the edge increases. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Even though I have so much McConkey in best ball and I really needed him to have a big game tonight, I'll sacrifice it for some edge and showdown. That is for certain here. And it just kind of goes to the point, too. You bring up Disley and Rieger brought the talk. Disley, he could be the unspoken of gem here where he's just going to have some more snaps, more first reads funneled his way. And look, he's going to be very popular at 4,800 tonight too. He's a great click. And this Chargers passing attack, because you look at this Chiefs, I'm going to go over the stats now. Chiefs are third against the run in terms of yards allowed per game this season. They're 23rd against the pass. For the Chargers, they're 10th against the pass, 14th against the run. Where do you want to target the Chiefs? Again, when you want to target the guy who plays the slot. And the same thing goes for the Chargers. You want to target the slot receiver against them as well, which is kind of a mishmash, but Kelsey does run a lot of slot as well. So again, what we were saying, Palmer, I think he presumes most of these slot snaps. And Kurt, I think you're in agreement. Whether it's Rieger on the outside or DJ Chark, we still expect Palmer to be the main slot guy, right?
Yeah. Davis in a couple, Disley in a couple, but he's going to step right into that role. I think he's more comfortable there, low key.
He's had a very disappointing year. I'll just be completely honest.
And I think that's why. I think he honestly prefers the slot. I'm not sure what the breakdown was last year, but I feel like all his big games came where he's had to take more snaps in the slot.
And I was very high on him coming into this year for best ball, and he has not been fitting the bill. So hopefully this is a chance for him to get his foothold. He is one of my favorite plays of the slate. But first, we're going to talk about quarterbacks. So two of the best in the business. Herbert and Mahomes, 2 top 5 quarterbacks going at it. The great thing about Mahomes, Kurt, is that he's seen a major uptick in his production. What he has done in recent weeks has been much better than what we saw over the previous 20-game sample size. And they're throwing the ball incredibly at a very high rate. And that's good to see. As someone who bet Pacheco's rushing prop live last week, I was kind of frustrated with how much they threw it, but that's a good thing when you have Mahomes as the quarterback. Do you think both are very much in the captain, consideration tonight? Because I do. I mean, let's be honest here. Mahomes, we know what he can do on the ground, but also the way he spreads it out makes him captain viable. But Herbert also being one of the better rushers over the last, 8 weeks since his foot got healthy. It's very good to see. What do you like about them in the captain?
I think they're very live for captain. I usually don't do it, but we talked about this, I think, the last 2 when we have guys that spread it around and can run like Herb's been doing. I'm kind of glad he didn't last week. Hopefully he gets it back up here. doesn't have the kind of safety net and McConkey in the slot. Maybe he just starts taking off a little bit sooner. I would like to see it. Especially against, especially like they've had so many close games with Kansas City. I feel like Herbert really wants this one. I feel like that could honestly even push him to run a little bit more as well. So I think both very live for the captain slot. Mahomes, we know what he does. He can throw it to one of the running backs. He can get one backup tight end. Noah Gray's been catching 30 touchdowns a game. Yeah, both guys are probably – I'm probably going to have a lineup with – even in my hand builds, I'll have a lineup with each guy a captain.
Perfect.
My first lineup was Mahomes captain, actually, which is never, ever my first lineup, quarterback captain, unless it's like Lamar.
I'm going to run the Sims here for Saber Sim here very shortly, and I'll tell you what I get here in a second as well. And just a reminder, Dynasty Rewards, be sure to use your Crowns boost today. This is one of the last full Sundays that we'll have. We'll have one next week, but then when Christmas comes, you're going to see these games kind of split up. You're even going to have Wednesday games and then Saturday games and stuff. So one of the last full Sundays that we're going to get. So be sure to use your DK Sports or DK Crown boost.
Now you're telling me.
Yeah, well, you can use it whenever you want, even after you used your entries, as long as it's before. I want to say the cutoff is 3 a.m. It could be 2 a.m., but I would always do it before.
No shit. Oh,
yep.
Whoops.
So basically, if you had 5,000 crowns and you hit the activate button, at midnight, you would still get your 4-time amount of crowns or whatever they do as well. And D-Lo, you're exactly right. Use the like button. And Johnny Takes, that side is carrying it heavy. I'll say that he's carrying that.
This side.
No, not even close. Let's go ahead and just go through the Sims here because I'm with you on playing these guys in the captain, Mahomes and Herbert, the rushing upside. It's just good. And if I'm going to pivot off that, and I'm just going to talk about how both these quarterbacks are great, right? We can just say the typical, I want to play both of them. Well, that's true. Where can I get different? Well, I think maybe captaining a guy like Josh Palmer tonight could be a way to get different where I can still play both quarterbacks. I don't think a lot of people are going to be very alert to the possibility of Josh Palmer getting these these slot routes and potentially, increasing his production tenfold. So that's probably where I get a little bit different on. And I can still probably create some amazing stacks too, where I can get Kelsey in there, hell, even Disley and stuff. So that would probably be my way to get different. I don't think we all have to spend too much time on the quarterbacks because we all know Herbert, we all know Mahomes. I get that. Let's move on to the running backs then, Kurt. So we spent a little bit talking about Pacheco, P. Ryan, Hunt, and what this situation could look like in the Kansas City backfield. There wasn't a limit on Pacheco, but Andy Reid came out and said that 20 snaps was kind of the goal for him against the Raiders. I don't think he's going to be a full go yet again. Like if you had to make me guess a number, I would say 30 snaps, which that's probably half the work at best. And that is not something that I really just want to bend over backwards for when he is 8K. And same with Kareem Hunt. If his role is just going to continue to decline, he's 6,400. These running backs for both sides, Kurt, feel very gross. Is there merit to getting leverage on any of these guys? And maybe Kamani Vidal at 2,800 potentially would probably be my favorite or most exposed guy, which is just gross.
So I don't think there's any merit, but I mean, all year, it's like Big T tweeted last week, these running backs have just been dry shoving us. So the only merit is I'm tired of tilting them. So I'm not going to say a bad word about him. Probably not going to play him. I do kind of like the vital thing. I mean, Kansas City's awesome against the run. Like I said, I don't think he really needed it down there, but I'm an idiot. So I think I will probably sprinkle Kamani Vital. Edwards is just, I mean, I don't mind paying him for a Vital. Like, say if he breaks off one good run and ends up getting a 50-50 split with Edwards, I'm okay taking a guy 2,400 in a bad matchup and a promising rookie who, God forbid, what if he breaks out and has like a couple awesome runs, as opposed to paying 7,400 for Edwards in a bad matchup. So I'm actually not sure last week, who they make the passing down guy? They have any like 2-minute drills or anything like that?
Are you talking about for the Chargers, right?
I mean, it might be Vital.
I think it might be Kamani Vidal. So let me go ahead and just double check that for you. Let me go ahead and get their game cast up. Who was their last opponent that they played, by the way?
It was the Falcons.
Okay, and that was the Falcons game where they barely threw the ball at all. That's fun. All right, let's go ahead and just see if we had an end of half. We did not get an end of half here. We did not really get an end of game situation there.
It has to be vital. I was going to ask Bruce if he caught a lot of balls, but it's not
Haskins.
Haskins.
He was active in the passing game. I don't think he was incredible by any means, but he was definitely active in the passing game. And I know he was very popular best ball pick because I think a lot of people saw him as having a path to being the PPR guy. Is that exactly what happened? No. But is that something that could happen in this game? Yes. And I keep going through each of their drives, Kurt. And I know this is the unconventional way of doing it. But not even like on third down do I see really any passing to the running back either. So I think that's one of those things where, again, it's an unknown, right? And it was very slim. So Johnny Takes has it. It was very slim when it was Vidal. And this is the thing, too, where it's up in the air. It's not a certainty at all. But if Vidal was the third down back, if Vidal was the 2-minute drill back, he's 2,800. He's not going to be high owned at all. That's a good play at 2,800. And you know what they do around the goal line, too? They get a little funky around the goal line. Hassan Haskins might be the guy at the goal line. It could be Gus Edwards, or hell, it could be Kimani Vidal. So I'm selling on Gus Edwards for that reason, just because, he's not even the main guy. I think they really do like Kimani Vidal, and I do think they want to get him involved. And really, like at 2,800, he's my highest exposed running back right now, Kurt, and that's just purely because of price. And I love all these receiving options and stuff a little bit, like, Quentin Johnson, Josh Palmer, Will Dissly. You can talk to me about Kelsey, Worthy, Hopkins. The running backs are just the ones who are giving me a little bit of the ick. But I mean, do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the Kansas City thing is really rough. Honestly, the only running back is probably just throw a dart.
So I'm wondering. I see 10% ownership for what it's worth on Kimani Vidal. And it could be one of those echo chambers, Sambino. One of those echo chambers where, I'm not going to consider myself part of the sharp group, but if you have a lot of sharp people saying they're going to be playing a guy, he can still come in a little bit under own. But Saberson has him at 10%-ish right now. And it could be higher. It could definitely be up to 15 or whatever, but that's still a fine click at 2,800, I think.
I mean, I don't think you have to have him, but he's probably going to fall in a couple of mine. I'm definitely going to be able to fill. I'll say that. But
Saber is the most bullish on
really
Josh Palmer. I love it. I love this projection. They got him 11.29. That's a healthy projection right there.
Let's see what these Palmer lineups look like.
So let me go ahead and just bump up Josh Palmer, because we're going to move to the wide receivers here right now. And I just want to make it clear, too. When you look at this wide receiver room for the Chiefs, it's a little bit blurry. After, Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy, it gets a little bit blurry. You go to week 13. Here's the routes ran for each of these guys for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we'll do the Los Angeles Chargers next. But Kansas City Chiefs, routes ran 42 for Kelce. Then it was 34 for Hopkins, which was a change because the week before that, he only ran 50% of the routes. Hopkins seeing an increase in the passing game is a good thing. Xavier Worthy, 33. Juju Smith-Schuster, 28. Noah Gray, 25. Justin Watson, 21. So that's kind of the pecking order of this wide receiver room. When they dropped back over 40 times last week, Kelce ran almost all the routes, had 13 targets. But Xavier Worthy and Hopkins, Hopkins getting back into the mix, because I just want to make this – I want to emphasize this. Last week, 34 routes. The leader was 42 with Travis Kelce. In week 12, DeAndre Hopkins only ran 19 routes when Travis Kelce ran 37 routes. So a guy like Xavier Worthy also ran 32. Is that a sign where DeAndre Hopkins getting more comfortable in the offense? Was it 2 weeks ago where they didn't really trust him? I want to say that was against the Bills as well.
Gosh, yeah, I had him so much that game. I thought he was going to go off.
So the Hopkins thing is something, because I kind of came in with the presumption of, his work has been slightly cut. I didn't really care about the Black Friday game. I watched a little bit of it, but I'm in the middle of buying a house and stuff, so I wasn't even home for that game. And Kurt, seeing those snaps does make me a little bit more bullish on DeAndre Hopkins than I was coming in. And that is not something I was expecting to say. And I also got to bring up Juju Smith-Schuster. If he's getting 28 routes, that's a fine tournament click as well. What are you doing with this Kansas City wide receiver room before we move on to Los Angeles?
So the first guy I want to bring up is Worthy, who I never play, but just watching the past 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, if he can just get his feet and bounce, or just have some field awareness of where he is on the field. He can't get his feet in. He's turning his body the wrong way for some of these passes. That guy is very, very close. If you've been watching these games, he's very close to having a two touchdown game, 2 long touchdowns. I don't want to fade Xavier Worthy today. I usually don't play him, but I mean, he is someone who could just break the slate wide the hell open. So I'm going to probably get a little bit of him. Juju's interesting. I really don't want to do it. It feels gross, but if he's honestly playing that much, fine cheapie. Kind of like Kamani Vital. You play one of those guys as your cheapies. They're honestly not terrible plays.
What was it? It was a showdown slate earlier this year, and I want to say that Juju was optimal in the captain, right? Because he had over 100 yards and he absolutely nuked. And he wasn't exactly popular on that slate either. And I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen here, but we've already seen it once where he's turned back the clock. And I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little bit of more Juju Smith-Schuster than I am before. So that game, he had 8 for 130, and it was against the Saints when they won 26-13. He had 8 targets, 7 catches for 130, I should mention. I mean, it's in the cards, right?
I will say this is the first time in probably 2 years where I don't get the ick by playing these Chiefs receivers. Like, I think it's these 3 guys, it's Kelsey, and they're all priced very fairly. I think since Tyreek left, this is the most comfortable I've been. And I know, obviously, they're all 3 aren't going to get there, and probably only one will. But there was a time, I feel like the past 2 years, where you just didn't want to click any of them. Like, it felt very close to even click one of them. And I'm very confident in one of these 3. I'm probably going to make sure every lineup I make tonight has one of these 3 guys. Mostly because I'm paying the running back.
Kind of feeling like too. I know it does have to do with the fact that we're low on the running backs. And, a lot of people are going to be thinking the same thing. Like, I understand.
I don't care.
Yeah, like, it's good. And I don't know. I feel good about it. And to go ahead and confirm here, Leander, I think our guy Captain just updated the Run for Your Sports ones as well, which is perfect. That's why I was looking at the Sabre ones because they had Josh Palmer like 4 points higher than us, and I was like, I don't know if they're updated without Lad yet. These now have been updated, so I'm going to run mine very, very shortly. Let's go ahead and move on to the Chargers talk too, because I do want to leave time to talk about a same game parlay at the end as well. So Chargers side of the ball, we've already mentioned a lot of it, especially at the top of the show. We both think, and just to summarize real quick, Palmer steps into the slot, plays most of the slot snaps tonight. Chark is a dark horse to start on the outside there. Probably a lot of people will gravitate toward Rieger just to get those direct snaps because that's what we have seen in recent weeks where Rieger has been playing a lot of ball basically. And Quentin Johnston's role really doesn't change a ton. Will Dissly's role could increase a little bit. It does run a little bit from the slot and is a popular first read option for Justin Herbert. Now, we've already spent 5 minutes on this Chargers wide receiver room, Kurt, but go ahead and just give a blanket take. And if people will really want to go back on it, they can start at the top of the video, but just something to summarize what you talked about as well.
I think we all agree that Palmer's the slot guy, so we like him the most. Johnson's having a good year. If he's having a game where he's catching the ball, 50 and a game where they happen, maybe they're trailing, let's say, honestly, 5,800 is fine. Dissly's my favorite. Titans have been killing the Chiefs all year. I'm picking a pass catcher. Going Disley, he'll be chalk. I don't care. He was chalk that – actually, he wasn't as chalky as I thought, but he was chalk that one slate. He was good to us. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Great matchup. Game they hopefully should be had in the past, but I'll make it Disley. Disley and Palmer are very close for me. If you had to pick one, even though the different price ranges and everything, but if you had to prioritize one in your lineup, which one would it be?
Palmer. And I think that has a lot to do with ownership, though, because like you said, Disley's going to be very popular. Disley's going to be north of 50% tonight. Don't let that surprise you when you're like, damn, this behemoth of a tight end is mega chalk. Why? Well, he's a very popular option of Herbert. Herbert does look for him over the middle on these short throws and down the seam. However, if you're going to give me Palmer at maybe half the ownership, I think it'll be maybe just a little over half of, or a little less than half of the ownership. And I just think Palmer is that guy. Like, we've seen him have big games in the past. From the slot, Chiefs, second worst team against the slot in terms of yards per game against. I'll target Palmer here. And I both are good clicks, but Palmer's going to be my guy tonight, Kurt.
I have to agree just because of the ownership thing. I mean, you make a great point. So, but man, I really like both.
Yep.
Building, I mean, this is actually a really soft build. Have you built?
This is a funny comment. AP's captain rankings on the playbook seem to be a bit biased. That is funny.
Oh my god!
I can imagine that it's just Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, Hopkins, but yeah, he thinks the Chiefs roll. He didn't even captain a Charger tonight. I'll respect his Chiefs fandom, but he's also a great DFS guy too. So he definitely thinks the Chiefs roll, I would just assume. And what's the idea here of Ladd not being in this offense too? Let's talk about that, Kurt, because before I move on to the tight ends, Ladd has been the Chargers' best receiver this season, and it hasn't been close. He has been the one guy who's capable of getting open on any single play. Does this Chargers offense look significantly worse tonight without Ladd McConkey? And that might be a conversation. That might be what AP is angling at. Look, they don't have two of their best weapons, J.K. Dobbins and Ladd McConkey. This team might not stand a chance tonight. What do you respond to that?
I think it depends how Palmer plays. It depends how – I mean, he has been really, really fucking good. I could see that. I could see them definitely maybe taking a half to kind of get it in gear, starting out really slow. So maybe Chiefs first half money line, or if it's not too juice. But, yeah, I think they figure it out. And honestly, it's even better if they do get down, because maybe they'll abandon the run and we can just get them passing. Fourth quarter, things start clicking. Palmer starts clicking. That would be the ideal for us. So I think it's very live to happen too.
Yeah, that's 3 steps of the denial program. Is yes, I want them to go down early so they can throw the ball more. That's like step 2 of it.
Yeah,
but I definitely go through the emotions of grief. They're not playing that bad. Stage 2 is, well, it's a good thing that they're losing so much. And stage 3 is turning off the TV. J. Ruff, I think it's going to be almost a 40-40-20 split is what I predict. And if anything, it would be a 50-30-20 split. And that would mean Pacheco getting 30 snaps. What is that, 12 touches? I think that would be the most – I think 12 touches is a good number to kind of set on for Pacheco. Can it be good enough at 8K? Yes. Do I really want to gamble on that? Not really. And Kathazla back. Why is Vidal only 2,800 with no Dobbins? Good question. Cheap, good value here. Work in the passing game could be decent as well. All right, tight end time. We already talked about Disley a tad, but just go ahead and talk about Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, and Will Disley. Do I want you to talk about Tucker Fisk? Not really, but you can. Go ahead.
I'm not going to talk about Tucker Fisk, but the snaps were kind of funny. What was it, 44% last week, 54%? If they go run heavy, hey, he's going to be out there. He's not going to be touching the ball, but he'll be out there if you get points for blocking. Noah Gray has just been absolutely crushing. They do so much 12 because he's so versatile. I'm not going to knock the guy at 4,400. I don't like clicking Noah Gray, but if I fall in that 4,400 range where I'm in a really murky range where I can't get up to the kickers, but I really like my lineup, and Juju, honestly, him or Juju is a tough debate. Let's say you fall in that range, and do you want to leave 1,000 to play Juju, or do you want to play Noah Gray? I think I want Noah Gray just for the floor. But if you leave 1,000, you also get leverage on not being duped as much.
It's a good point. Let's bring up Noah Gray snaps too. Just like if you just look at it, 6 targets last week, right? That's not really a fluke. 25 routes. That puts him very much on par to guys like Juju and Justin Watson, right? Hell, it's only 8 and 9 off of DeAndre Hopkins and Xavier Worthy. You go to week 12, Noah Gray ran 21 routes. That was more than DeAndre Hopkins, right? Like that was the same as Juju Smith-Schuster. The routes are there for the price, right? And like people can say whatever they want, second tight end. I get that. But he's just not – he's not your everyday second tight end. Like, he is an actual weapon in the pass game, right?
Was you asking me? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, bro, the play action, the moving him in motion, getting him in the flat, like getting him in the flat. Like, he's very, very involved in this offense.
Very, very involved.
Correct.
So this is a good one here. And I know – did you talk about Disley yet? If you want to, just go ahead. And then I'm going to talk about DJ Chark for just a half second.
I mean, yeah, I'm jamming Disley. Jamming Disley chalk. Don't care.
Yeah, Disley, good click tonight. And so Harbaugh had a good comment. Again, one of my favorite accounts, Coach Speak Index. They do a great job summarizing all the Coach Speak that you see. And there was a lot of comments about DJ Chark, believe it or not, this week from Harbaugh. You know, he said that there are guys on the team playing better than DJ Chark. And then he also mentioned it 3 days later that DJ Chark had a really good week of practice. That doesn't make me any more bullish or less bullish on DJ Chark, but it is the fact that he's a top pick is not like the worst thing in the world. But I do think I'm slightly leaning like a Rieger straight up, right? And I was leaning a little bit of Chark straight up, but that does change just a little bit the more I look into it. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Step and step. I think Kelsey's a priority tonight. We saw him kill the Chargers in the first meeting as well. That was when Travis Kelsey was in the midst of a very poor spell by his standards. And I think Travis Kelsey, I want to say this was back in like week 5. He had 9 for 70 or something like that is when they played the Chargers. And it was the first game he was kind of getting it going. He runs a lot from the slot, which is what you want to target against the Chargers. He's a good click tonight. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a good click tonight. One of my top guys here. All right, kickers and defenses. Summarize it up for me. We'll take questions as well. Throw them into the chat. Once Kurt is done talking about kickers and defenses, we'll take some questions, and then we'll build out our same game parlay for the night in hopes that we're never one leg short yet again. Even though last week we were 2 legs short, I think. So we've been 1 leg short way too many times to count. But Kurt, talk about kickers and defenses for me.
God, LeBron's doubtful. God dang it. That screws me so bad. That's
Oh, man.
Kickers and defenses. I don't like them. I don't like them at all tonight. Actually, I think the pricing's too soft, in my opinion.
So I'm going to battle back against you. Dicker was optimal in that Bengals-Chargers game, right? Like he was more than optimal at that point.
Because the Bengals don't play defense, Rubio. Every time you start a drive, you're starting in field goal position. That's why, buddy.
It only takes one play to get in field goal position. I do agree with that. As a Bengals fan, I am very frustrated by that and making Russell Wilson look like the second coming of Jesus himself. I mean, I'm well aware of that. But this is Will Dissly in the nut matchup is less expensive than these kickers.
Well,
if that answers that, man rates world, I think Kurt is very much on Dissly over Dick.
$300 cheaper. Now, look, if you want to play that grain script, double kicker with a defense, fine, do it. But I don't think it's going to be – I think that's the only way it hits is if this game ends up being like 17-10.
Yep. All right,
and the touchdowns are very concentrated.
There is a lot of guys around the high 4K, low 5K range that are really good today. And that's not even including the kickers. All right, let's go through that. At Dissly, really good click tonight. Palmer, good click tonight. Quentin Johnston, good click tonight. Noah Gray, half decent, right? That doesn't even include these defenses. That doesn't include going cheaper than that, like Juju or Kimani Vidal and stuff. I would battle back and say that is there a chance that 2, maybe even 3 of those guys are optimal? Yes. Would you want exposure to the kickers? Yes. If you're doing one lineup and you don't have enough to get up to like a Quentin Johnston or a Palmer and stuff, I think a kicker is fine in that sense. Otherwise,
Will Gray can outscore a kicker. Will Dissly can outscore a kicker. Palmer only $200. Palmer's $200 more can outscore a kicker. Juju $3,400 can get 7, outscore a kicker. Justin Watson can catch a touchdown. Kimani Vidal can catch 3 balls for 20 yards. Maybe get 10 rushes for 30 yards. Outscores a kicker.
If a kicker anyone can outscore the kicker, but not everyone does outscore the kicker. There's a reason why Cameron Dicker is a Pro Bowler. You know, he gets it. He gets the job done. He's automatic.
There's matches where you play these kickers, and it's when there's obviously a team who, like the Bengals, you're starting in field goal range every time, or it's when pricing is so tight. There's guys down here. Like,
would you do a max? Like, can we play the happy medium of a max of 1 kicker tonight?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Like, if a kicker was your last guy in, especially Cameron Dicker, you're fine with that, right?
There's still going to be someone else I'd probably rather play, but yeah, that's fine.
All right, that's fair enough. All right. Throw in some questions into the chat, guys. We'd love to answer them. I am running some contest sims now. For reference, I had a really good question here. This one is from my own brain, believe it or not. Josh Palmer or Quentin Johnston straight up, Kurt? I think we're both on Palmer, right?
Yeah. I think last time we had this question, I took Johnson.
QJ is projected a point higher, and I get that. And people are going to point to, he drops fast and stuff. But he does get looks from Justin Herbert. He does get looks down the field. That matters. And I know we didn't spend a ton of time glazing him or anything like that, but I still do prefer Josh Palmer straight up over Quentin Johnston. And that salary be damned. I will take my chances with Palmer to get the job done tonight. Yeah, BK, GJ, 34-26 Chiefs. I hope we see 60 points in this game. Give us a Rams-Bills type performance. I would love that.
That would be the
all right. So, Kurt, I made my changes. Do you want to know who my top captain is tonight?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, I take this back. I take it back. No, we're not doing that.
Who was it?
No, I'm not saying. It could. I would be. Oh, my God. The Sims love themselves some Isaiah Pacheco tonight. Oh, they even love themselves some Gus Edwards and Kareem Hunt. That is sickening stuff right there. No, rebuild. Rebuild, damn it. Palmer was optimal captain in this game in 2022. I like that. That's a good shout. We are.
Mango's trying to make me the mush.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys can circle jerk the kicker game. Big Tom, you guys can circle jerk the kicker game all night. I'll be in bed sleeping after I crank out maybe 2 or 3 back to back to back. Yeah, halftime, crank out 2 or 3, go to bed.
Sounds like a good
you all can circle jerk each other to this kicking game. I'll be circle jerking myself to the sleepy sleep game.
All right, so here we go. Top captains tonight: Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Travis Kelce, Josh Palmer.
I just cranked.
Jeez, be there. Oh.
I wanted the Giants to win today just to tilt B there. After he's like, yes, the Jags won. I was like, oh please, Giants, go down there and.
Yep. So all right, question.
I think the people are ready for the
same game parlay. I know. I'm building it right now. All right, Kurt. Let's
start. People funneling in just for the same game parlay.
Yeah. Let's do it. Josh Palmer. What do you want to do? His catches or yards? Do we want to do an alt line for Josh Palmer since how confident we are in it?
What's the catches? 3.5?
The catches right now. So if you went to receiving, and there is a boost tonight, by the way, same game parlay boost for Sunday Night Football. Right now, my boost is 20%. Yours could vary. It could be higher or lower. Who knows?
Yeah, put this in.
Yep. So here we go. We got Josh Palmer. Oh my God, the ghost fans is comment. I'm sorry, bro.
He goes to sleep. He goes and tries to jack off.
Josh Palmer
it's a fun game every night. That's a fun game.
Josh Palmer is a 44.5 yard receiving prop, which is 1 yard higher than Quentin Johnston. And just so people know, Jalen Reagor 15.5, Gus Edwards 5.5, Will Dissly 44.5. Will Dissly and Josh Palmer are tied in the receiving yardage prop alone at 44.5 here. The receiving yardage prop, though, Kurt 44.5 for Josh Palmer. His receptions is 3.5 at plus money. Would you want to do
that? Plus 3.5? Oh my God, that's a better guy. You said 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5
for Palmer.
Yep.
Palmer in the slot, 3.5.
Yep.
I mean, I know he's not McConkey. McConkey's been catching like 12 balls a night. I'd take 3.5 at plus money. Oh my God.
I agree with you there.
Holy shit.
And we are doing Josh Palmer first touchdown, pure chaos center in there.
It's a shame we can't do the add kickers because we could do a Mangones over 5.5 field goals made.
So I'm going to rifle another reception prop at you, right? Travis Kelce 5.5.
I'll let you make that call. I'm not good at Kelce.
I don't like it when you don't have conviction. 60 yards.
I can't get Kelce games right. I mean, I think I did like once this year.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna add in Travis Kelce. We're gonna do yards minus 105 for 60 plus yards. Who are the kick and punt returners? That would be McCole Hardman and Darius Davis.
Darius Davis, baby, double stack. Chargers Darius Davis, double stack, double points. Woohoo!
I'm going to stick with. No, we're gonna go to rushing. Okay, we know what our favorite rushing prop is. They've raised our guy Justin Herbert so much, man. Remember when we could get him at 11.5 rushing yards?
What's it at now?
Oh gosh, they ruined it. What happened to the game I love? 19.5.
I still like it. He only had 1 yard last week, which makes me like it even more.
Do you want to do the over 19.5?
I do want to do the over 19.5. I do like it.
I'll trust you.
I think he's going to take off a lot this game.
All right, I like it. We need one more leg for the 4 legs to give ourselves a nice, tasty 4 leg same game parlay. Did you want to just double stack Dissly and Palmer together? I mean, when we talk about Disley's receptions, his is 4.5 at minus 130. His yardage is 44.5. You want to go a different direction? If that seems right, we can go to it. What was that?
What's the Chiefs guys?
So Kelce is who we already have at 60 plus yards. You have Worthy at 40 plus yards is plus 100. DeAndre Hopkins 40 yards is minus 155. 50 plus is plus 110. Let's see. Juju Smith-Schuster.
What's Xavier Worthy's?
His is 40 yards basically. 37.5.
I think he scores tonight. I know you don't want to do that, but I think he scores tonight.
All right,
what's his receptions?
No, we're doing it. All right.
I think this is
you know
off
why?
the floor.
You know why I like that, Kurt? Because it goes from 6-1 to 27-1, and I
I
do
think
like
these
it.
scores tonight. I do.
All right. Here's what we're doing. Plus 2,700 with the boost, the 20% boost goes to plus 3,240. Over 3.5 receptions for Josh Palmer. Over 19.5 rushing yards for Justin Herbert. 60-plus receiving yards for Travis Kelce. And then Xavier Worthy anytime touchdown. They get to plus 3,240. So basically 32-1, same game parlay that we have on tap here today.
I really hope my dad got that because I'm back in Florida. Dad, if you didn't get that, just double tap left of the screen. So tap on. I think it'd be my face. And you can go back 20 seconds. You can replay it. So
respect.
Get that in for me.
He's not going to get it in on your behalf, Kurt. He's going to sweat it out himself. Come on.
You imagine. What are you running? What's your quarter night, Rubes? Where are you at?
I got Josh Palmer as captain in there.
Well, I knew that. You got you got double Josh Palmer on mine.
That is first touchdown and anytime touchdown. I didn't get the odds in because I'm trying to scramble.
No, you got Palmer in the flex and captain on my screen. I think it's.
I will say I'm actually gonna go. Oh, you're right. Yeah, my bad. We're gonna go Patrick Mahomes captain. All right, and I'm just looking at this really easy team that just has them. That's gonna be my main team tonight.
What we got? Hit me.
Patrick Mahomes. Oh, so okay. I'll give because obviously the people know Josh Palmer's in there, but I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes, Josh Palmer, and I'm going to go Noah Gray. Right, and you can kind of piece it together at this point. But look, 4,800 is not, or 4,400 for Noah Gray is not bad, but he's like the only shaky play in this list, and you can still get Disley and stuff too. Like it just seems like such an easy lineup. I don't want to screw it up tonight. Easy team here for my core. Patrick Mahomes captain, and then
double tight end or triple tight end. Oh, that's what that guy was saying earlier. Triple tight ends are nuts. Yeah,
someone did say.
Find that. I gotta shout that guy out.
Disley or Quentin Johnston? I think I'm on Disley, and that's a very close one, but I think I'm on Disley straight up over QJ. What do you think?
Yes, but I think I'm going to do a QJ captain lineup just so I can't tilt him. There we go. Shout out Logan Brock. Yeah, that has to be
NBA DK. Is Pacheco getting the full go treatment as last week, or do you guys expect more work than last week? I expect a slight trend up, but nothing that would scream anything crazy.
You want the ultimate GPP lineup? Quentin Johnson captain with Pacheco in there in the flex.
Gross. So that's the hedge my bet the hedge my bet lineup. Lambda, I think we're both going to be in unison here. The first touchdown bet would be Josh Palmer plus 1,600 on DraftKings Sportsbook, plus 285, or Xavier Worthy at plus 285 is also one of our favorite anytime.
That I would do I would do first Chargers touchdown, then first Chiefs. I know the odds are cut in half, but that's how I would bet it tonight.
So this is the best comment of the day. The Stone Smart. I bet him at 100-1 for a first touchdown last year. They didn't win it or anything like that, but he's 90-1 here now. It is tempting to click on Stone Smart's name, I will say.
When it's
and he's gonna be on the damn field. Like that's the one thing about Stone Smart for first touchdown bets. Like it's not the worst thing in the world. Let me go ahead and get my dog. He keeps barking at me. All right, I think we're all set here for the most part. Yeah, should be a fun one. Kurt, anything else to add?
Man, I just came out in the last spot. Vital or Juju. This is tough.
I honestly lean Juju. That's just because I'm on team.
I'm going Juju. It's a 4-2. It's that wild GBP lineup I just mentioned.
He was already optimal once this year with a 7 for 130. Like that's just not something I really want to ignore at all. All right, we got some great ownership here. I get like 25% Mahomes, Herbert, Kelce, and then I get like 10% Palmer in the captain. This looks amazing, Kurt. I love my
Herbert.
Herbert, I get 80% total.
No, someone asked for a Vandal MVP. I think I'm going to go Herbert.
Yeah, Mahomes for me, but that's just because I think the Chiefs win. But I do think Herbert's really close and does have slightly more rushing upside. Not nothing extreme, but DJ Chark, I also get 14%. I love these lines.
Share DJ Chark.
Any
good contest left?
What was that?
Any good contest left for me to get
in? There might be. There usually is.
There's a shitty $15. All right, fuck it. Yeah. Who wants to enter this 2K to first with me?
Yeah, 2K, actually been the printer in NBA is when you're entering a little late and stuff.
Yeah.
Who's your top captain on OnlyFans? Kurt's not an OnlyFans
Oh, no, it filled up on me. No.
Oh, it filled up right then. Damn.
Oh, it's so painful. What can I get?
Just a reminder, use your Crowns boost on the DraftKings app if you played a lot of volume today or more than usual. Be a good time to use it. One of the last full Sundays that we have until the new year. Christmas Day will be a good time to use it too because you'll have full NBA games and you'll have the NFL Christmas Day showdowns and the classic slate as well, which should be a 2-game, I believe. And then we also get they play on Saturday night. The 4 teams that play on Christmas play on Saturday night the week before, and then on Wednesday. So they'll both be on 4 days rest. Or all 4 teams will be on 4 days rest, weirdly enough. Hopkins Worthy, 1v1. Whew, Chris Simmons, good question. I'm going to go Worthy, and that's just a slight lean. And I just think he's more capable of big play. Hopkins snaps 2 weeks ago slightly scared me, but they rebounded last week. But Worthy just has, I don't know, I just like the speed of him a little bit more than Hopkins. It's a very tight call, Chris. I would go with whatever your gut has. If you were leaning Worthy, then go Worthy. I need to check this out. If he rides the nuts, man, God, you can win all the money tonight. You can have that money, man. All right, I need to check out this Carson Wentz photo. And make sure that the team's uploaded right as well. That would be a big deal. And they did. So, Kurt, I think I'm going to do a funky lineup here. Josh Palmer, captain, in the 3-3-3.
You're a wild boy.
Yeah, I want to get a Josh Palmer game where I actually have the stand on him. You know, I don't want to like middle it. And I do love Palmer tonight. If he scores, I'm not gonna. Yeah, and Chris, I just did the same thing too. I just had to choose between Worthy and Hopkins, and I did choose Worthy. So I do have some skin in the game on that question. I was going to be 30+% captain, high stakes. Yeah, that makes sense there. It's not bad. He just looks like Elf. I didn't even the one reason why I went into the app to check it, I didn't even.
Who was taking Elf?
Carson Wentz. Yeah, they didn't do him much justice with the Christmas tree lighting. He does have that Will Ferrell.
Have you looked at Matthew Wright's picture?
I did not. Does he even have a picture?
Wait, who'd y'all say looked like an elf?
Oh yeah, Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright just looks like a chill guy. He's
chill
like
guy. Brother, he got the Texans quarterback. Go back up from last year. He got that long neck.
He does that. What was that? Oh God, Glennon? Mike Glennon?
No, the other one, bro. The guy who came before Stroud, who was decent.
Mills?
Yeah, Mills had a long neck. Davis Mills. Oh my God.
And he did extend his neck.
First team all neck. Davis Mills, Mike Glennon, and Matthew Wright. First team all neck.
Careful, you get Kurt riled up before bed. You might start cranking it out now.
Oh gosh.
Oh God, the Jimmy Butler photo is a legendary one. God, that's good stuff. All right, guys. For Kurt and for I, we appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully, we get a taste of that 250K up top. If we aren't splitting it, well, then we hope one of y'all are up there in place of us. Have a great rest of y'all's day and being here, mister sometimes. God. All right, guys. Have a great rest of y'all's day. Hope you had a happy Sunday and happy holidays as well. Bye-bye.